Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Napoleon Total War with a Great War mod. We're playing as Austro-Hungarian, and World War I has just started. Last time around we defeated the Brusilov offensive. Well, although it happened right now, it happened in right off the start of the war. But we defeated the Russians under the command of Brusilov. And since then, I've been able to advance, so we're advancing towards Kametz. We've got Brusilov to the north with the puny force that he has left. And what we are to do today is, first of all, we want to add generals to all these guys. So I think the best general is probably for the best army as well. So we're gonna put Hermann Curves von Kurvenhaza, Superior General and Grasp of the Shovel. So we're gonna put him in charge, and as soon as I put him in charge, we actually spot another Russian force under the command of Nikolai Ruski, which is moving in. However, we'll be able to reach Kametz before him, I believe. And we'll force... Oh, we cannot demand surrender. I think this is an out-result though. We'll actually fight a battle that is worth fighting later on in this episode. So I lost 100 men, which is not a lot. And we were able to take the province. Unfortunately for me, it's a very unhappy province. High religious unrest. And resistance to foreign occupation. Also, there's two trains from my ministers that's causing problem, which means the proletariat is quite upset. Now, hopefully that will change in one turn, as we will research some socialism, as we'll be enacting some social benefits. With us also taking complete control of the province, we also note that there's another general to the north, Nikolai Ludovich Ivanov. Ooh, this is bad actually, because the armies will have to actually, I think we'll march out just so they're in kind of in range of supporting each other. We're gonna put another general here, and both of these are quite equal in terms of their stats. However, I note that this guy gets more points for morale than this guy. He gets just command, and command is really if I'm auto-resolving. The morale, although I think points in command adds to morale as well, but command is not that necessary because I would be playing the battles. Also, we'll see if we maybe can get our lancers to join this force now. We should be, we're just kinda out of range of each other to support each other, which could be a problem. I've also managed to get my spy aircraft, or my reconnaissance aircraft, up to the front, and we will go ahead and take a look at... Now I can actually see all the way to Kiev, Ukraine, and see that they have nothing there. I do want to see what they have up north, if they have something more. So we'll send our pilot north to see what we can discover, and we are not able to actually see if they've got any garrisons in Vilnius, in Lithuania, or in Minsk, Belarus, but soon we will, hopefully. So that's... we do have a force here. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure that I saw a Russian force moving into the forest. So I certainly don't want to get ambushed here. So we're gonna hold these guys back for now. As we move here though, we can see that the Serbians have sent a small force to attack Croatia, which I think is gonna be to their detriment. They'd probably do better to try and defend Belgrade with all their troops and hope to destroy this army and then be able to freely just advance into my territory. Now they kind of split their force. Thing is, they're holding here at the bridge. Gonna be difficult for us to attack. I have gone ahead and recruit a Bosnian-Herzegovinian infantry ready to defend Zagreb from the attackers, although just a infantry unit isn't gonna really be able to stand up against that. Over here we've got the Croatian army sitting on the border with Italy. I'm most likely, as I already kind of explained, going to preemptively strike the Italians. We're also going to move down this army, where we have a field gun, hussars, and 3 Landwehr reserve battalions. What I'm most likely going to do as we progress here, because there's a lot of technology that gives you minus happiness and a lot of buildings, like factories and so, to give minus happiness. So we're probably going to have to recruit quite a lot of Landwehr battalions just as garrison forces to hold provinces down. If we go further down, we are moving more of our cargo ships into the trade node. So now we've got all 4 ships there, which generates almost 4,000 for me. And then I'm putting all my ships to ready within range to guard these, and being able to raid the enemy trade, which is going back and forth through here. So if we look at my income right now, it's really good. It's gonna be even better soon. Coal. I think coal price dipped quite a bit. It's down to 56. Just from me starting to trade there. We're sending some of our coal actually to Italy. 13 tons. Not so much to anyone else. We seem to be keeping... No, we're actually sending most of it to Germany. Which is no surprise. That we would aid our allies like that. With that said, we're gonna go ahead and see if we cannot advance on Belgrade. So it's a pretty important battle. I can't reach them, but it might be that they're not gonna push forward and attack me. Which is understandable, because they're holding the bridge, and that's a really good position to hold. I'm also switching out, as I already explained. I'm gonna switch this to Town Council. And I think also we'll switch this to a town. Now this gives good region wealth, but as you build this up, it you give minus happiness, and I think big towns give more gold actually. Although I think they're actually quite equal. With all of that said, we're gonna end turn, and I'm really looking forward to getting those almost 9,000 gold, which I will be able to spend on extra troops. Now, with the end turn, it might not be that we're gonna fight the Serbians. It might very well be that the Russians try to retake this, and we'll have to move these guys in to reinforce. So it'll be interesting to see. These guys are just out of range, it seems, to attack us. This guy should be, or Bursilov is within range, so it could be that he moves this one forward and attacks with this one. So it's either if Bursilov goes ahead and attacks here and tries to somehow avoid this army, or he tries to attack here and try to avoid that. Or what he could do is attack the town, in which case the town would be the center and this army wouldn't be able to reinforce, which would be their best option. They would have more troops than me, and I would be reinforcing the town as well, so it would take some time for me to actually get into place. One of the things that I like about the more recent Total War, I'm thinking about games like, well, mostly Shogun 2, just in terms of how reinforcement enter the battlefield. In both Empire and Napoleon, it trickles in unit by unit, while in Shogun, I think the entire army or all the troops that are available move in, or can be available, move in, which is a much better way, because oftentimes I think if you followed me, you've seen that a couple of times in the campaign where the enemy is reinforcing and it goes so slow that I have, even though I kinda don't want to, I end up like forming a half circle just at the edge of the map, shooting everyone as they come in, which is kind of a broken way to play the game. With that said, let's go ahead and end turn and see what actually comes to pass. The Serbians could advance all the way in with our territory, but we would be within one turn to actually take out Serbia entirely. So that would just disband this army, so I'm not too worried about losing Croatia. With that said, let's go ahead and end turn, shall we? Okay, so the Russians just moved to consolidate the position instead of attacking. We got path blocked, intellectual advance, Marxism, socialism, letter of demand from the Russian region we've taken, workers on strike and so on. Construction towns in Transylvania and the Tiroler region. And we have the invasion of Togoland. The Togoland campaign was a French and British invasion of German colony of Togoland in West Africa. Right, so the Russians are moving to gather up all the force. So Bursulov has joined with the other Russian force. Now, the obvious choice here is to combine our force and attack before the Russians are able to combine. And I think we're gonna focus on taking out the smaller force first. We also kind of need to keep a lookout at this province to make sure that they've actually increased their... They've become more angry, even though I've got the... What has increased? Why have they become more unhappy? Or I guess we've lost repression, that's why. The province is not doing well. It's losing 100 wealth per turn. And it already didn't have a lot. So within 16 turns it would be completely barren. But we're not going to do this one today. We're going to do this one next episode. And also I note that we've got a Russian army here. Lifeguard units, interesting. Let's send the aircraft. Okay, so we got another full stack up here. Lifeguard units. It'd be doubtful then if I would try and continue maybe the advance by this one over there. This one would maybe just hold here for now, just to keep the enemy from marching over that bridge. And maybe just block this army. Right now I'm not sure if I want to take that on or splitting my force like this all over the place. Also I note a what's this? Romanian intellectual, is that moving? I'm not entirely sure. He seems to be going for Germany. And over in Serbia, the Serbians actually retreat to their capital. And that is exactly what we're gonna attack, because the Serbians over here are one turn away from getting to this town, and it won't be able to hold on its own. Also, Luigi Codorna is close to being able to reinforce this town, so I think we might have to attack the Italians before they're able to concentrate a load of forces there. Now you would want to wait until they have actually built a town council, but we're not going to be able to wait that long. And in combining with that attack, we need to also move the fleet to try and protect. Now, we're probably going to lose the trade, because they're going to send out this force to blockade the port. So we're going to keep that in mind, that we're going to lose a lot of our trade, 5,000 of it. So it's going to only be the land-based trade that we're going to get something out of. We're going to keep that in mind. Right, I think we've gone over everything. It's a really important battle, so let's see if we cannot defeat the Serbians. So the Serbians have a mighty force. It's mostly made up of armed locals, home guard units, but they deploy a force of 3,000 with an additional 400 on the way. They're gonna outnumber us in cannons. They're definitely gonna outnumber us in terms of skill. They have a lot of chevrons. But hopefully I'll be able to outmaneuver the enemy and kill them. With all of that said, let's go ahead and start this battle, shall we? So we have the town, or I guess what's supposed to symbolize kind of Belgrade right here. And the enemy has deployed behind it. They've got their artillery over here. Their regiment of cavalry and the troops strung out along here. Then they also have some units being spotted out here. It's a massed unit of home guard, which we can go and take a closer look at. Right. So this is what the Serbian home guard looks like. That's them, and this is their artillery. So they've got field gun, light howitzer, and then beyond that we have their cavalry. They've already deployed helmets. And here's the infantry. So here we've got one type of infantry, the Ilban. I'm not entirely sure how you're supposed to pronounce that. And then the Iban. Wait, the double Iban and the Iban. One Iban, two Iban. I'm not entirely sure. The Iban and the Ilban infantry. I've gone ahead and deployed my army over here, slightly offset from the enemy, and the idea is really that I will be able to move my artillery up and be able to fire on their infantry before the enemy artillery can fire on me. So we're gonna move up kind of through here and attack them like that and see if that works. With that said, let's go ahead and start. Also gotta keep an eye on where the enemy reinforcements come out. Ah, look at that. I think we've got home guard right there. And also, unfortunately for me, the enemy reinforcement comes in right behind them, which maybe shouldn't be that much of a surprise, but I would have wished maybe, or hoped that they maybe came out of somewhere on the flank or something, so that I could have used my cavalry to ride them down and get them before they're able to attack me. We're advancing, and the thing is, the home guard right there. Looks like the enemy is going to push forward all their troops, their artillery as well. Given that the home guard is right there, I wonder, it will slow down our advance, but maybe I should deploy the artillery just to see if I can shoot those guys down. Let's have the cavalry ride forward and maybe scout to see these guys. If we don't see them, then I can just deploy my artillery and tell them to attack the area and hopefully blast the enemy away. Let's see what range we get on this as it deploys. We get pretty good, and the enemy is, I think, within range as well. Infantry to the front, quickly. Okay, we've started to fire the guns. We see somewhere around here. The shots are about to land. Boom! Didn't really hit the enemy though. I'm gonna order the cannon to fire over there. Cavalry has not actually spotted the enemy even. Alright, let's see how this goes. If there actually is an enemy here. Okay, I fired, but there wasn't actually anyone there. Hold fire and then redirect yourself to fire at this unit in the back. I think the enemy is deploying their guns. Yes, they're counter-firing around. And they're firing towards my infantry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move up my cavalry on the flank. I have a possibility of taking out their artillery still. And I think we're going to advance so that we get into the forests to defend ourselves that way. And hopefully that will cover us a bit. Also get the general forward. Let's see, this unit has suffered heavy casualties due to our artillery. Taken out 100 men already. Home guard has been spotted. Moving forward. Right, so I know there's a gun there, which I definitely want to take out. Same time, the enemy has been targeting us pretty heavily as well. Okay, we're within range to fire at the home guard. So that fight will start soon. I'll get my infantry to try and envelop the enemy infantry. And the infantry skirmish has started. Right now, we're concentrating our fire on the home guard, which is kind of a meat shield for the rest of the infantry. I'm gonna send in extra troops here. We've got... Oh, no, they're firing at my cavalry. That's not good. We'll send the hussars to attack the enemy cannons over there. I'm gonna send up the dragoons to see about flank firing into this. The enemy home guard is sent away. Heavy casualties on both sides, but a lot heavier on the enemy side. My dragoons are advancing. I didn't actually need to move them that close, and now they're taking fire from the enemy. Retreat! Retreat! I didn't need to move them that close, but we definitely cut that unit down really well. Good fire all around. My hussars need to speed up their... My cavalry did make it away. So, what I could do is I could actually dismount the dragoons, make them less vulnerable. But I kind of want to have the option of running my... You know what, we will... No, I cannot dismount them actually. I can go into skirmish mode, but that just means that they're retreat once they get close. The hussars are now going to swing in and see about getting that artillery piece. Let's take a look down here. Heavy fighting. I can't even see the enemy actually. There's so many bushes in the way. I'll redirect my artillery to actually focus on this one, because this one has a lot of troops left. And what I'll do is I'll actually target the ground in front of the unit rather than actually firing on the unit. The hussars doing well. They're about to... Ooh, nice! Just as they are about to actually mount up, my hussars are ready to attack and sweep the Serbian artillery away. The problem is going to be the fact that they've got rifle cavalry right over there. So with me now setting the target for the artillery right here, means that they're going to hit the center of the unit rather than what normally happens, which is that the AI normally just targets the end of the unit. But if you've seen a lot of my campaigns, you know that I go on and on about that. Oh, the rifle cavalry is actually firing at us. I'm gonna move my cavalry over here And what I'm gonna see is if I can just sit here and shoot a little bit at the enemy artillery, maybe just cut them down. My dragoons are advancing. They're taking fire again. Move back. But now, as so many of the enemy's infantry has been cut down, we are beginning to see some really good results. I'm gonna advance some units. And we're gonna see about getting as close to the enemy artillery as possible. Ooh, the enemy cavalry is definitely attacking us. What we'll do is we'll retreat. We don't want to lose the cavalry units. Instead, we'll leave it to the infantry. So these guys are now in a good position to advance. I'll tell the artillery to hold fire and then pick targets at will. So what we'll do is we'll have these guys advance, then sit down, fire, and as they do that, we'll have this side advance. My hussars took heavy beating there. And this unit is actually turning around to fire at them. But now as artillery is concentrating over here, plus rifle fire, this Serbian unit isn't gonna stand for long, and it's getting completely cut down. Right, most of the Serbian units seem to be retreating towards the artillery to set up a defensive area around there. We need to move hard to get close to actually start shooting at that. Also, I think it's time to relocate the artillery. What we might do, because I'll sacrifice my cavalry in a desperate charge to take out their cannons, but it's gonna save a lot of my infantry and make it a lot easier for me to continue or win the battle, as it were. I think we'll advance the cannons to about here. That should be enough to for me to be able to target the enemy artillery. We'll have the general right here. Cavalry units should set up. Right, my infantry has advanced and are now dealing with the home guard unit up ahead. Right now, though, we're advancing without artillery support. A lot of our units are down to half health in terms of number of troops. Let's see if we can't advance further with this one to get closer and get a little bit better range on the enemy. Let's move like that. The artillery is moving forward. Okay, they are. My artillery is within range to counter battery fire, so I'll deploy them. You should be moved over here, ready to deploy. Right now we're being held back by a single unit of home guard, holding on, fighting to the very end. They are putting a lot of troops around here, so I think the cavalry charge might not work. Seems like the gun. I was just about to say that the guns are kind of silent, but they are still firing. Oh no, they're targeting my artillery. Well, that's actually better. I'm gonna tell the field gun to target the unit, while the light howitzers are gonna target the ground in between. Soon we'll be here, though. Oh, they are retreating. Let's move forward and come within range of the artillery. The hussars and cavalry should move to here, ready to swing in, and we're about to finalize the defeat of the enemy. What we'll do is I'll actually send this one in towards towards the town. And we'll do like that. Alright, let's take a look. So far we haven't silenced any guns, but we have silenced a lot of infantry. We have silenced one gun somewhere. One of the old field guns have been silenced. Boom! Nice explosions. Blowing the enemy away. Now they're opening fire on my infantry, which is coming within range. Forgot to tell them to run into position. Open fire, gentlemen. We can see they're not doing too well. The general's unit is quite heavily depleted. Now we'll move in the cavalry to attack. I'm hoping all the infantry units, these need to advance actually. At the same time the enemy is actually targeting my cavalry just as they're pulling forward. Ooh, we took a loss there, but we'll be able to move below the guns, hopefully. The enemy general actually retreats away from the artillery position as it's getting entirely overrun. However, there's still a home guard over there. So the fight goes on, even though it definitely moves more in favor of us now that we are able to take out the enemy's cannons. I will go ahead and tell the cannons to prepare to redeploy, and the infantry to hold fire. We'll organize them here in the field. Get the general to come here as well. And then we'll move the... Ooh! I did not notice that. We had lost 3 guns of the light howitzers. And we had lost 1 gun of the field guns. Don't forget to tell the cavalry to hold fire as they ride down the remnants of the enemy artillery guard. They're gonna hold down to the last 4 though, which I'm quite surprised. So there's only 1 guy left, and he gets cut down. There we go. We are now victorious. We've got the enemy's general moving over here, and we've got home guard over there. So I imagine, given just the numbers here, that we knew that they, from the start, that they had a big grouping of home guard units over here. We actually have a unit here. Frontier troops moving in. Guys, move to the wall. And move to the wall here. We'll set up the artillery somewhere here in the field. Oh, the frontier troops are opening fire on us. Hurry, men! Hurry to the wall! Damn, this unit's losing tons of men. One's behind the wall, though. I think it'll go okay. We do have the cavalry. Yeah, suddenly it changes quite drastically. Look at that. They're firing at this unit. So far it hasn't lost a single soldier. While we're cutting them down. So taking position behind the walls is really useful. Oh, there goes the first guy. So we can definitely just defeat them by having the troops sit behind the wall. But we want this over and done with. So I'm gonna deploy these in spread out formation and move them into the attack. So still, even though the constant fire from the frontier troop, and they've only managed to inflict one casualty on this guy that was sitting down. Looks like they're actually moving on these. Yes, they're firing on these now. Which they can also sit behind the wall. Hurry, behind the wall, sirs. As the enemy is over there, we need to make sure that we can fire above the village. So we'll set up here. A risk of friendly fire here by these two units. I'll tell them to hold fire. We're not doing that much damage on them right now. Let's see, the cavalry units are very depleted. And there's great risk of friendly fire, but I'm coming at an angle. You can kind of see the tracers going this way and this way. So if I put the cavalry there, they should be avoiding most of the friendly fire. Let's see, the artillery. I want the artillery to be able to reach this unit, so we can cover the entire area of enemies there. Cavalry open firing in the back should be the final straw for these Serbian troops to force them to retreat. Well, that's the plan anyways. This is Serbian officer urging his men to hold on. The capital may not fall. The Austrian troops, though, have really strong positions. They're really gonna fight to the last man, are they? There's only 15 left. Right, while that is happening, let's actually make some moves towards here. The guns are almost in place. The general has arrived. Oh, there we go. Now they're finally retreating. The officer has decided once there was only 5 men left. That was the time to retreat. Right. Cavalry will swing out here. And now all the troops will join in for the last final assault. Here's the result of the battle. So we lost a lot of our troops, 1,200 men in the assault, leaving only about 600 alive. We lost the Hussar unit completely, However, the enemy force was utterly devastated with only 22 of them remaining. We managed to kill 77 of our own, which is actually not that bad. And the enemy killed roughly 150 or so, maybe 200. Really good results though. Highest killers goes to Field Gun, killed 1,000. Light Howitzer killed 500. No surprise there. Imperial Infantry coming around 350. And then going down to the General, which somehow managed to kill 31, which I doubt. One Hussar remaining in the end. Unfortunately, he kind of ran into a ambush by some Home Guard at the end and got shot down there when he only had like 16 guys left. So even going into full retreat, he wasn't able to get away. But with that, we have taken Serbia. Problem is, we're most likely going to see a rebellion here. That's going to be troublesome. I could liberate it, create its own region. But, no. I don't think so. We might do that in certain areas, but not with Belgrade. We get pretty good replenishment rate. I wonder what kind of force we are to expect from the enemy. There's no way I'm gonna be able to change the opinion of them anytime soon. Right. With that said, it also opens up a land route to the Greeks. Let's see, do you want to trade? Yes, good. That means that I get more money. And with this also, to make sure that we can hold this, the Bosniak troops will be sent to support. What can we recruit? Oh, we can recruit Bosnian troops here as well. And this Sarajevo will now start with some of the battle technologies like mortars, re-implementing heavy artillery, machine guns and so on. Some of the quick military ones you can get through here. And with that said, not dragging out this video any longer, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.